All right, let's talk about retirement planning. Specifically, two heavy hitters that you hear about all the time, indexed universal life and whole life insurance. Now, people love to compare them, but as we're about to see, they were built from the ground up to do totally different things. So, which one is right for you? Let's dive in and find out.
So, first, let's just get a lay of the land. You can see here that whole life, yeah, it's still the bigger slice of the pie, holding about 36% of the market. But here's the interesting part. That share is actually shrinking. And at the same time, Index Universal Life, or IUL, is gaining momentum, and it's gaining it pretty quickly. What we're really watching is that classic story. You've got the old champ, the established giant, going up against a really fast-rising challenger.
And that really brings us to the core question, doesn't it? Let's forget about what's more popular for a second. If your number one goal, your absolute priority, is to generate the most tax-free income you possibly can in retirement, which of these policies is actually designed to get that job done? That's exactly what we're here to unpack.
To get that answer, we have to start with their DNA, their core design. Like it says right here, they were literally built for different goals. One is all about the death benefit, and the other is built to maximize what we call living benefits. Believe me, that one single difference changes absolutely everything.
This slide really just lays it all out. On one side, you have whole life. It's the traditional approach, right? Its main purpose is to make sure there's a guaranteed death benefit waiting for your loved ones. But on the other side, you've got the IUL philosophy. It's engineered from the start to maximize the tax-free cash you can get your hands on while you're still around to enjoy it. The death benefit's still part of the package, of course, but the real focus is on creating a paycheck for yourself in retirement.
Okay, so that's the theory. But how does this all shake out in the real world, with real money on the line? To figure that out, the source material created a challenge, a direct head-to-head case study to see which policy comes out on top when it really matters.
So here's the setup. We've got a 50-year-old guy and he's got a $500,000 lump sum to invest. The goal is to get that money into the policy as fast as legally possible, but, and this is important, without turning it into what's called a modified endowment contract, or MEC. You really want to avoid that because it messes up the tax treatment of your withdrawals. So with those rules in place, the objective is crystal clear. Who can generate the biggest stream of tax-free income starting at age 65?
Okay, quick timeout for one really important term before we see the results. It's the internal rate of return, or IRR. Now, don't let the name intimidate you. All it means is your true rate of return. It's the bottom line number after every single internal cost and fee has been stripped out. It's the most honest way to measure how hard your money is actually working for you.
All right, the stage is set, we know the rules of the game, and we know how we're going to keep score. So, let's see what happened when these two policies finally went toe-to-toe.
And the results? Wow, they're not even in the same ballpark. The whole life policy? It was projected to spit out about $40,000 a year in tax-free income. Not bad. But the IUL, using the exact same $500,000, was able to generate over $70,000 a year.
Let's just boil that down to a single number for impact: 75%. The IUL generated 75% more income. I mean, that's not just a little bit better. That's a completely different retirement. It's a life-changing amount of extra cash flow. So the next question is pretty obvious, right? Why? What's causing this massive difference?
Well, the answer comes down to one thing: internal costs. Let's look at the whole life policy. Let's say it started with a 6% gross return. The internal costs ate up 1.73% of that every single year. That's a huge drag. Now, look over at the IUL. Same gross return, but the costs were only 0.24%. That difference in efficiency is just massive.
So let's put it another way. The internal costs, that performance drag on the whole life policy, were more than 6 times higher than on the IUL. It's like trying to run a race with weights on. Those higher costs directly chew away at the cash value that you need to generate income, and that's what leads to that 75% gap we just saw.
And here's what makes this so difficult for most people: transparency, or a lack of it. As one of the experts in the source material put it, with whole life, it's a black box. The fees just aren't clearly spelled out, so as the policy owner, it's almost impossible to see just how much of your money is getting siphoned off to cover those costs.
So why are the costs so dramatically different? It really comes down to the plumbing, the mechanics of how the policy is built. And the source material uses this really simple but powerful bucket analogy to explain the difference between owning your insurance versus just paying for it. Let's break down the IUL structure with this bucket idea.
Imagine you've got $1 million death benefit. That's your bucket. Now, as you put your money in, your $500,000, you're literally filling up the bucket. The insurance company is now only responsible for the empty part of the bucket. And here's the absolute key. You're only charged insurance costs on that shrinking, empty space. So the more you fill your own bucket, the less you have to pay in costs. It's beautiful.
And this slide just sums up the whole thing perfectly. With an IUL, you are actively filling your bucket. You're owning more and more of your own death benefit over time, which systematically drives your costs down. With a traditional whole life policy, it's kind of like you're just renting the bucket. You're paying for that full death benefit for your entire life, which leads to those much higher sustained costs we saw earlier.
So let's just zoom out for a second here. This whole comparison, it's not really just about two insurance products. It points to a much, much bigger idea in retirement planning, the incredible danger of hidden costs and financial blind spots.
Because, planning for retirement, it isn't just about how much money you can pile up. That's only half the battle. It's about preventing leaks in your financial boat. These hidden costs, fees, and of course future taxes, they can silently drain your wealth without you even realizing it. At the end of the day, the goal isn't just having a big number on a piece of paper. It's about maximizing the net after-tax income that you actually get to take home and spend.
So, we'll leave you with this question to chew on. This case study today, it uncovered a huge cost difference in one very common financial product. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What other hidden fees, or costs, or financial blind spots might be hiding out in your own retirement plan right now? It's definitely a question worth asking.